Hi there, guys. We're going to go over how to put quotes in your essay. I'm going to read through this PowerPoint, so just follow along with me. IDEA quote placement into your essay means it's an acronym. I, introduce your quote. D, deliver the quote, give it. E, explain the quote or put the quote into your own words, summarize it. And A is analyze it. How does it prove your topic? Okay, screen 2. What in the world is a quote? It's not a famous quote from a song or a famous person. It does not have to be dialogue or something a character says. It actually is when you write word for word, when you copy word for word what you read in that piece of literature. You're copying the author's words. You can write part of a sentence or an entire sentence, but please don't give too much, no more than 2 sentences. The quote is evidence to prove your topic. Only write what you need to prove your topic. Your quote should be short and to the point. Your reader of your essay is reading your essay, not rereading the short story. Examples from 2 kinds in Scarlet Ibis will follow later in this presentation. So why are we using quotes? Quotes serve as proof or support to prove your argument. That's your topic of your paper. So freshmen, your topic in Scarlet Ibis is, you're going to argue that it's dangerous to make all people fit into one normal mold. Sophomores, your topic is, parents who want success for their children need to encourage them without pressuring them to excel or be perfect. So you need to give evidence or proof from your short story to back up your claims when proving your topic. Your argument is only believable with proof, and quotes serve as this proof. Quotes are the proof that supports your topic. You have a topic. Don't make people normal. Don't make people change to be normal, or don't push your kids too hard. That's your topic. Your quotes are going to prove that topic. So you got to choose your quotes wisely. Okay, idea. Here's an example my son did in school. He wrote a paper about Ulysses. Introduced the quote. When Hermes appeared to Ulysses, and then I give the quote, deliver the quote, fell to his knees. Why do you kneel, venerable sir? Asked the youth. You are older than I and a mighty warrior. You should not kneel. And then my son put the author of the book and the page number. E is explain the quote. My son wrote, even though Ulysses is older than Hermes, he still kneels in front of him. So I rephrased the quote. Analysis is prove the topic. This action shows that because Ulysses dropped to his knees to Hermes, Ulysses is acting modestly. Ulysses is acting less arrogant and focusing less on his ego and more on respecting other gods. He no longer thinks he is the greatest and even puts himself below Hermes, who is younger than Ulysses. Kneeling is a great symbol of humility because he is physically making himself lower instead of trying to act superior. Next slide. Introduce is I. I introduce. Who is talking to whom about what? In the previous example, I offered a brief introduction. When Hermes appeared to Ulysses, that's the introduction, but that's okay for now, but not later. You're going to have to progress and give more information such as location, where in the story does this quote take place in, explain the location in the story, where are the characters in the story when the quote is used, who is talking to who is speaking, the narrator or a character, you must reveal the speaker. Context, what is the quote about? What is going on in the story just before the quote appears in the story? Summarize what occurs in the story immediately before the quote appears in the story. Summarize what is going on in the story. Why? The book is big. The reader needs to picture where from the novel the quote takes place. Next slide. Introducing the quote, an example, and this is fictionalized. Here's an example. I am innocent because clearly it was never sold. I had conversations I should not have had, but I did not think I did anything illegal. I did not have any illicit intentions. I did not intend to break the law. My intentions were pure. I am innocent. This is confusing. Who's talking to whom about what? We need explanation. Next slide. So here's your quote. If you click the button again, you're going to see the lead-in. The lead-in, if you click enough times, you'll see. The lead-in is, we have a special guest on our show. He is the disgraced governor of Illinois, Rod Blagojevich. He is accused of trying to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat. Rod, tell us why you're innocent. And now the quote makes sense. I am innocent because clearly it was never sold. We know from the lead-in, he's talking about the Senate seat. I had conversations I should not have had, but I did not think I did anything illegal. I did not have any illicit intentions. I did not break the law. My intentions were pure. I am innocent. The lead-in makes the quote logical. The lead-in introduces the quote so the reader, your reader, understands your quote. Next slide. Okay, so let's practice. Scarlett Ibis, you remember your topic is don't make people change into one normal mold that's dangerous. Here's a quote. It was too late to turn back, for we had wandered too far into a net of expectations. Lead into it. Sophomores, your quote is, parents, don't push your kids to perfection. Just encourage them. Here's the quote. In all my imaginings, I was filled with the sense that I would soon become perfect. My mother and father would adore me. Introduce that. Check the next slide to see if your answers were accurate. English 1. Here's my lead-in. The narrator and Doodle just buried a dead bird, and both boys are discouraged about Doodle learning to be normal before school. As they are heading out to Old Woman's Swamp, they both know they should give up the goal of making Doodle normal. However, they simply cannot, because too much effort up to this point has been invested. The narrator then explains, now give the quote. It was too late to turn back, for we had both wandered too far into a net of expectations. I just told you who's talking, what the topic is, where the characters are before you even read the quote. Sophomores, here's my lead-in. The narrator, Nikon's mother, makes Nikon believe she can be perfect, like Shirley Temple. Nikon's mother made her believe Nikon can be a famous ballerina if she tried. Nikon is telling the reader that she wants to be perfect so her parents will love and accept her. And the quote, in all my imaginings, I was filled with the sense that I would soon become perfect. My mother and father would adore her. Actually, it should be adore me. I apologize. Look at the bottom. That in the bottom is more advanced. It's when I replace the me and the I with her and she's because I'm embedding it in the quote into my sentence. So look at the part after or. That's a more advanced way to write a quote. Next slide, please. Skipping information from within a quote. Okay, let's say you have 4 lines in your story you want for a quote. You don't need all 4 lines. Just get rid of what you don't need. Can you isolate words that back up your point and get rid of the rest? What you do is since you're using quotes as evidence, you are proving you know what you're talking about. Only use what you need. Do not confuse the reader with parts of the book that do not prove your topic. And how do you do it? Using 3 dots called ellipsis. So, now, let's talk about the quote, explaining the quote. Now that you've written your quote, what does the quote mean? Why is it important? How does it prove your point? Many of you have one sentence after each quote for your research paper. This is simply writing a list of quotes. That does not make a great paper. A great paper is made by what you say about your evidence. How does this quote prove your topic? Example of analysis, English 1. Okay, so I already read the lead-in. You can reread that if you want, and then here's the quote. I'm going to reread the quote. It was too late for us to turn back, for we both wandered too far into a net of expectations. Explain the quote. The narrator and Doodle realized they had not reached their goal of making Doodle normal, but they do not want to give up. They had worked too hard up to this point to stop training Doodle. Then analyze it. Why does it prove your topic that it's dangerous to push people to be normal? After the boys continue on, a thunderstorm strikes, and Doodle is too tired to continue exercising or training. The narrator makes Doodle work harder in order to reach their goal of making Doodle normal. The narrator would not turn around and quit. When the narrator pushed Doodle to run, the narrator pushed Doodle too far. Doodle collapsed and died. Trying to make Doodle normal kills Doodle. Therefore, trying to change people to fit into a normal mold is dangerous. That's English 1. English 2. Next slide. I'm not going to read the lead-in, just the quote. Topic is, parents, don't push your kids too hard, just encourage them. In all my imaginings, I was filled with the sense that I would soon become perfect. My mother and father would adore, it should be me, I apologize for the her. Explain the quote. What does the quote mean? Nikan is convinced that she could be perfect at something. She also believes her parents would love or adore her if she is perfect, which implies she does not think her parents will accept her if she is flawed. Now you're going to analyze it. How does it prove your topic? That parents don't push your kids too hard. Just encourage them because, let's read it. Few people in the world are perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. If the parents push Nikan to be perfect and no one is perfect, Nikan will disappoint her parents over and over again. When Nikan realizes that she will never be perfect, she will believe that her parents do not accept or even love her. Knowing her parents look down on Nikan will impair how Nikan sees herself. Nikan is destined to feel like a letdown or disappointment. Next slide. Ellipsis. More about ellipsis. That's what a quote looks like when you've skipped information. And then the next slide, this just shows, again, what the quote looks like with the page number. This presentation was supposed to just introduce how to introduce a quote, how to deliver the quote, how to explain what the quote means, how to analyze it or prove the quote supports your topic. This is just a beginning. Replay, repeat, pause, take notes if you want. What you're going to do is apply this in a rough draft and an outline, then a rough draft. And you get to revise it, we get to discuss it, and we're going to practice this throughout the year. So are you supposed to know this 100%? Probably not. Are you supposed to be familiar and get an overview? Yes. And I want you to practice this in your short story packets. Just practice. And then we're going to practice it in an upcoming paper. Practice. And by the time May comes around, you need to know it. But right now, it's the beginning of the year. We're just becoming familiar with this. So don't worry. No stress. We're just getting acquainted with this concept of idea. Introduce, deliver, explain, analyze. Thank you very much. Talk to you later.